This year I visited India. It was a pretty special trip for me because I am half Indian, but I've never been before. Over the next few videos I'm going to show you what I got up to and how I found India, along with some tips and tricks and recommendations for helping you plan your own trip to India. So we started in Udaipur, which is a city in Rajasthan. It's incredibly beautiful and tranquil and is a really peaceful start to your trip. If you're planning to do the Golden Triangle, I'd recommend adding Udaipur onto it as a starter, and if you're doing a wider tour of Rajasthan, I definitely recommend starting here in Udaipur. There are direct flights from Mumbai and I believe Delhi. They don't cost very much and they're really short, so it's worth making the hop on over to ensure that you start your trip off on the right foot, especially if you've never been to Asia before. So after exploring gorgeous views of the lake, which you should be able to find at any good restaurant and hopefully at your hotel, we went on over to visit the fort, which was insanely beautiful. As the first historical place that we saw in India, I kind of think I was almost spoiled. The colours inside, along with the carvings and the paintings and the details, are exactly what you would imagine. This is where everyone gets their shots for Insta, so you might have to queue if you want a picture without people in it. We were having a drink at the cafe. A procession emerged from the fort. I think it was a VIP, but yeah, what a cool sight to see while you're just having a casual Coca-Cola. Here's me at Ashoka Arts, which is recommended everywhere, and I endorse that recommendation. You can learn to paint your own Indian miniatures. So here's me with like a claw for a hand. I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, I had such fun painting it as a souvenir. I was just really happy with this as an activity, and it really didn't cost that much at all. Udaipur is really easy to walk around to get back to our hotel after a long day wandering around the streets of Udaipur, which is highly recommended because they're beautiful and you'll discover something new down every single alleyway. We stayed at Ashia Haveli, I think that's how you say it, which is really highly recommended. Beautiful rooms, amazing views of the lake, really close to the centre of town, and really lovely owners. We were also right next to this shop called Krishna Handicrafts, which has an amazing variety of vintage fabrics and textiles and jackets and cushions, which was just a load of fun to explore and have a look around. So we decided to book a taxi to Jodhpur. It's quite a long journey, so most people will recommend you break it up with a trip to Kumblagar and or Ranakpur. We decided to do both. We really wanted to see Ranakpur, and Kumblagar was just suggested by our guide. It's a really old fort that looks over the mountains of India. It's a long climb up to the top if you're not a great walker. It wasn't the highlight of our trip, but if you have never seen old forts before, it might be worth a quick stopover just to get a break from the car. Said, we did also visit Ranakpur, which is a definite must visit. I don't have any footage of it because it's a really holy place, and although you're allowed to take photos and videos, I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. It felt a bit disrespectful, but I highly recommend Ranakpur. It's stunning, and the details will absolutely blow your mind. So the next stop on our journey was Jodhpur, which is known as the Blue City. You'll probably have seen tons of photographs of Jodhpur. And of course we visited the fort, which was stunning. Again, highly recommended. The details on the building, the carvings of the balconies were incredible. You can see here just the intricacy of every single window, and it was so much fun to wander around. Stayed at the absolutely stunning Juna Mahal homestay. It's right in the centre of Jodhpur, which has its perks and its disadvantages. You're in the middle of the action, but it can be quite loud. Juna Mahal was beautiful. The owners were so friendly, really helpful. It was a little bit of a splurge, but it was worth it to stay in a heritage haveli. So unfortunately in Jodhpur we were really feeling the effects of getting sick in Udaipur. I think we'd had some bad food, ironically at a really fancy restaurant. So I didn't get to do as much in Jodhpur as I wanted to. I'd wanted to do the zip line. You can go zip lining over the fort with Flying Fox, I believe it's called, which looks amazing. But we were just feeling so sick. We ended up spending half a day going into the hospital in Jodhpur to get some medication, and then just having a rest. So yeah, I really recommend being careful about where you eat. As since not all of Jodhpur is blue, you'll have to ask your hotel or a tuk-tuk driver how to get to the blue parts where you can have fun wandering around and seeing the famous blue bit of the city. A must-do in Jodhpur is visiting the stepwell. They're ancient and really beautiful. The one in Jodhpur has loads of lovely shops nearby and a cafe where you can sit and watch the locals jump off the top of the roof, which was quite scary at times. So the next thing we did was grab a midnight train to Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer is not on every itinerary, but it was honestly one of my favourite places that we visited. It was like stepping into a fairy tale. Again, beautiful details of all of the buildings. The people were so friendly in Jaisalmer. Especially here at Jaisalmer Handloom. We stayed for an hour. The owner gave us a drink and we had a chat about the arts and crafts of India and Jaisalmer, and I may have come away with a few blankets. Oops. At one point we stumbled across a procession, which was amazing to see. So many colours and sounds. I believe it was for Hanuman. Yeah, I just felt really privileged to be able to see this right in front of me on our trip. Guttingly, we didn't actually have very long to explore Jaisalmer Fort. If I could go back, I would spend at least a day wandering around. The buildings were beautiful and there were so many different alleyways and nooks and crannies to explore. It's honestly like, you know, the stories and the fairy tales. It actually is like that at Jaisalmer Fort. The views from the very top, as you can see, were magnificent. Yeah, I think if I would do it again, I would spend a lot longer exploring the fort. We only had a couple of hours and I think you should really dedicate at least a day so you can do it at a gentle pace, because Jaisalmer is very hot. It's near the desert, so you'll want regular breaks for cold drinks and shade. We also visited some of the heritage Havelis, which are being carefully preserved. Some are still lived in, but you can see parts of them where you can see these beautiful paintings on the inside. It's crazy to me that people live in these stunning buildings. We don't have anything like this in Britain. So yeah, I recommend paying to have a look inside one of these old buildings because it's totally worth it. So there are a number of smaller Jain temples inside Jaisalmer Fort. Here are some shots of the insane carving. This is typical of Jain temples, and it never fails to blow my mind. I know I've said that before. I kind of spent all of India in a state of blown mind, but yeah, the details and the beautiful intricacy of the carvings here are definitely worth having a look at. I mean, as you can see. You'll also want to save a few rupees for wandering the streets of the fort and picking up some souvenirs. There's some gorgeous little statuettes and bags and magnets and all sorts of really sweet things here. A lot cheaper than in the rest of Rajasthan because, as I said, not as many people visit Jaisalmer. Yeah, so save a few rupees for one or two cheeky souvenirs while you're here. So that's the end of the first leg of my trip to India. Coming up next, we've got Jaisalmer, Delhi, the Taj Mahal, maybe some tigers, Kerala, and lots more besides, so stick around. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out some of my other vlogs, like and subscribe, and tell me what you would like to see next.